la. Austin FC. Sha la 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 la. Austin FC.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 101. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E. A.K.A. Lee James, A.K.A. Sebastian Drew, E.C., A.K.A. Easterdamus, A.K.A. Pap E. O'Daniel, A.K.A. The Fashionista, A.K.A. Chili Willy, A.K.A. Joe E. Chestnut, A.K.A. Eon Stonkel. E. Austin FC 2 are MLS Next Pro champions. How you feeling?
I am feeling fantastic. That they are. A little silverware on a Sunday, we'll take it. It was awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to try to do this episode with the excitement from this game and then recap last night's game as well. But for right now, man, I am just super excited. What a game, what a match. Watching those boys turn it on there at the end and get this cup and just, culminate a fantastic year was fantastic. So I'm doing excellent.
Yeah, E's for excellent today.
How about you? We had a little false start earlier. The blooper reel.
Man, that 10-minute stretch from that game just sent me to another level. I think every other Austin FC fan that was watching. I mean, we'll get into the breakdown, the full recap of Austin FC 2's championship winning match that took place today. But of course, going to take care of business with the first team, to start here as we typically do out there in San Jose last night. We've got the nonsense. We had best ball decision day, the bets and all that stuff in between. So let's go ahead and jump into the first team. And if you can notice the change in tone when we go talk about the first team. Man, I think I guess before we jump in, like this feeling right now today is what I'm hoping that maybe not next year, right? But in the near future, we're feeling not just with our second team, and not just with our, U15s winning the GA Cup, but that this infects the first team next year to where we've got this winning feeling again, right? It doesn't even have to be a championship for me next year with the first team, but the vibes between last night watching the game with our buddies and tonight, there was more buzz me sitting alone in my office here watching this game than there was with 8 of our friends last night watching the first team. So,
yeah, I mean, look, we'd probably be buzzing if we were in the wild card. It would feel like a big win,
sure.
So, like you said, maybe not necessarily a cup next year, but it'd feel great to be in the playoffs right now, especially watching that San Jose team last night.
So now that we've brought the level back down to, reality here, let's talk about last night's draw against San Jose. So it certainly could have gone worse from a results standpoint, but I think a few things that we can talk through here. That's not just, what went on the game during the game, but maybe what we were feeling as fans throughout. Lineup came out first, and we did our whole exercise on look, here's if you want to full rotate, here's this trash lineup. And I like we said on episode 100, we didn't expect that lineup to come to fruition or really anything close to it. But the fact that we got none of it, this was a pretty much, besides maybe one or two conversation pieces here, pretty much a first choice lineup. You had Brad in net, you had Leo and Julio paired, at center back, you had Johnny on the left, Nick on the right, Johan and Alex in the defensive half, Owen and Ethan Finley on the wings with Seba in the middle, and Rigoni up top. We did see Hedges, Dani, Jossie, Hector, Adam, Brandon Craig, Will Bruin, Memo, and Matt Bersano on the bench. So what were your takeaways before the match when we saw this lineup?
I mean, we were doing a best ball draft for NBA the night before or a couple of hours before the game or something. And, I said to you, sounds like Josh is going to play the guys. And we were both like, what? Then had a little discussion about that. I mean, this entire game just has me confused. I really don't know what we were trying to accomplish last night. Because we weren't trying to win that game with the way we played, particularly after we get the first goal. So confused. I don't see any benefit to playing 10 there. I don't see any benefit to playing Leo. I don't know. I was confused. It was not what I wanted to see. And then you pair it up with the way we performed, and it's even worse.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get into the game. One thing to discuss, I think, before we do, and those feelings that you described of what are we doing here? What was the point of this? And then the in-game adjustments, as you kind of hinted at, where clearly not playing to win. All a little bit head scratching, but the thing that left, I think, Austin fans raising their eyebrows at was Dani being on the bench for a third straight match. So what I wanted to discuss here just for a minute, what do you think, if anything, is behind this decision of late for Dani to be coming off the bench to close the season?
I think it can be a few different things. First, much more speculative. They're shopping him. I think that's on the table. He's an asset. So I think that could be looming in the background. I have no confirmation or anything like that or source.
Well, we think he's a free agent though, right? Because the GA deal is a 3-year max to our understanding. So I don't know if you can actually, right, again, with the weird MLS roster mechanisms, can you trade a guy that's out of contract, but you still hold the right of first refusal? I'm not exactly sure how that works, but we are under the impression he's out of contract after this year. At least I am.
I don't know why I thought that the GA contract came with a team option.
I was actually talking about that with Landon the other day, because there is no explicit 3-year max. It's just 3 years that the GA players can stay on a supplemental spot on the roster and not count against the salary cap.
Okay.
But I still, I went back into the rules and regulations, read that text, and I still am under the impression that it's a 3-year max deal. But that is not confirmed.
So then he would just be out of contract.
Yeah, and again, I think he's not eligible for free agency because he's not old enough and he doesn't have enough years of service. But again, I think we
have some sort of ownership rights there, right?
I think we have the right of first refusal, right, where we are the ones that he's kind of like a restricted free agent in the NBA. Again, this is our speculation and our interpretation of how the rule book classifies these GA players.
Okay. Well, the other one that seems to be much more likely, in my opinion, is there's some sort of dysfunction, some sort of complication in the relationship between Josh and Dani right now. Also, Johan's emergence, playing much better. I can't leave that out. But the maturity thing with Dani has been an issue his entire time here. And I don't know if this is some sort of punishment, that he's not getting to start here. Obviously, we know his talent. The goal we give up, I don't think it happens if 6 is out there. So I'm not entirely sure. Although, again, I had been of the mindset that Dani was just kind of playing his own game for a little while there. I had said it before, and I just felt like something was going on. So I don't know if this is the all of this culminating. It's been just kind of a perfect recipe for Johan to slot in and Dani to be like, oh, we got to get you under control or something. But yeah, it's a head scratcher too, particularly if it's like, you're going to play all your guys. Like we played all of them.
Yeah, so I think that it's more towards the second thing you said there, where like Johan Valencia's emergence and what he brings on the defensive side, where like Dani is not to the level of Johan when it comes to just factoring in the defensive prowess, again, in my opinion. And so I think that pairing Johan with Alex and the success we've had relatively with that pairing late during this home stretch of the regular season, I think that's playing a big role. I think you're onto something, and I was not there with you a couple of weeks ago when you first brought up like, hey man, I don't think Dani's been playing to the level, to that high bar that he has set for himself. And that it's not to take away from anything that he's done or the great player that he still is and will continue to, improve on going forward. But yeah, man, I think I don't remember when it was, but you remember when he was out playing rec soccer on a Sunday during the break?
Yep, I do.
It feels like it's been downhill from there in terms of like his production and his efficiency. And now, coming off the bench these 3 games. So
some sort of conversation had to happen surrounding that. Like there was some, cause they're going to see it. Of course they're going to see it. So I don't know if something happened in that discussion and it kind of set Dani the wrong way. But yeah, it's just been a weird end to the season for him.
Well, it was interesting because the post-game presser, and I don't think we'll talk much about that after the recap. So just interjecting, I thought this was one of the most interesting tidbits that Phil West got out of Coach Wolf last night, where I think there was like some Wi-Fi issues out there at PayPal Park. So it was very delayed. And I think what Phil said in his article was it ended up being just a one-on-one interview because Phil's the only one that hung around for however long it took. But he was talking about asking Josh about that situation. And, they were talking about the midfield depth and Josh brought up that he thought that was maybe our biggest strength in terms of the depth on the team, where you've got Dani and Owen and Alex and Johan and Seba, et cetera, right? I don't think he's wrong there. But here's what caught my eye in relation to Dani. He said, Wolf did, this is from Phil saying this, Wolf did concur with my assessment that this might change in the offseason, given that Ring is on an option year of a DP contract and both Dani and Owen are attractive to teams abroad. Josh said, quote, I would hope there's interest there for those guys. And then Phil saying, noting that he, Josh, has talked to Dani about the possibility of moving on openly. So they are, at least from Josh's account, they have already been communicating about this. So this, to me, I don't think that there's much of any sort of like discontent between the two, outside of Dani being a player, a competitor, and probably being frustrated that he's not out there, like almost every player is who's coming off the bench. But I thought that was interesting that he noted that they've actually, saying that we don't get a ton out of Josh, right? And saying that he and Dani have discussed the potential for him, moving overseas openly already before the season is over. I thought was interesting.
And look, as much as that would suck, that's what Dani Pereira should be trying to do. Like that should be his end goal, unless he's committed to being an MLS Cup champion, wants to be one of the best players in MLS, then I'm all for it. I welcome that. But, selfishly, he's a player. He should have high aspirations to move over there. So if there's been an open discussion with Josh and Dani about that, I much, much prefer that than having it be like this well-known secret under the rug where it's like, oh, we might lose Dani, and of course it can't be like that. But, that's how this should play out is, he should be sent somewhere at some point. So, I get that. I don't know if that plays into, the benching, not being in the first 11. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We need some clarification on the contract. I want to understand. Maybe you sign him to a deal and then you can loan him.
Yeah. Well, so I've heard just whispers, right? That the contract negotiations are ongoing. So I am under the impression that he's out of contract and we're trying to get him on a new one. But again, Rodolfo Burrell does not care, it seems, what your name is. He's trying to figure out the salary cap sheet. So,
With that being said, though, he doesn't care about what your name is, but he knows Danny Pereira is an asset. I don't think you can't just lose that for free.
For sure. Danny didn't come off the bench till Roto got here, though. Really, I mean, I guess going back to 2021. Either way, this is more of an off-season conversation where it's going now. So we'll certainly cover anything and talk about Danny and everybody else who's out of contract in the coming weeks. Let's get into this one finally here. We were talking about PayPal Park and how some of the picturesque shots we were getting on the broadcast last night with that open end of that stadium. So on the replay, I didn't hear this last night, but Adrian Healy said that open end is the airport end. So I went on Google Maps. The San Jose International Airport is on that side of the stadium. So that's why it is. I don't know if that's why it's open like that, but I'm assuming you could see planes taking off and landing during the game there. So that interesting setup there for PayPal.
I really want to go there. It looked beautiful. It looked like a fun park. They had that with the open area, they had that little outside spot with the food trucks and all that shit. It looks really cool. And I mean, you can fly right in, watch us
right?
win, fly right out.
Get out of there. Yeah, we saw at halftime, right? They have that little clear walkway above the concourse where the players go from the locker rooms to the pitch. That's cool. Yeah, I saw a couple folks today talking about PayPal Park, how cool it was, and people who have been there in a lot of other stadiums saying that that's like a top 3, top 5 stadium for them in MLS. So maybe that's one we got to go to in the near future.
I would like that.
So third minute here, Matthew Hoppe almost gets past Julio early on here, but I thought Julio in this moment did a pretty great job to reach out, get his boot to it, and looked like he had some Velcro on his shoe right there because it kind of stuck to his boot, and then gets it to Alex. But Alex turns it right back over, and San Jose doesn't really create a dangerous chance in this possession, but early on in the rewatch, it reminded me how the first 10 minutes, it felt like we didn't have a second of the ball.
No, we were getting absolutely thrashed, and we did not handle their pressure well at all.
7th minute, San Jose steps in front of another Austin pass and takes off down the left side here. I think the Quakes, the recipients of some fortunate bounces in this buildup on the left. A couple deflections that fell right to them, but you take what you get, and then they kind of settled it down as they got into the area, and Shakiris crosses a ball on the ground kind of in between Cade Cowell and Jeremy Abobasi, and Alex Ring is right there, and he clears it out for a corner. And then on that ensuing corner, Ring heads that one away. And Alex Ring, again, whatever's going on off the field, this guy brings his fucking lunch pail. And there were many times last night where he was the guy saving Austin from sheer disaster.
Yeah, I mean, if that was his last game in the kit, man, it was an Alex Ring kind of performance for sure.
Yeah, I don't think I have this in the notes, but there was that one time when Cowell beat Lima down the left sideline, and then all of a sudden you see Alex Ring like a homing missile just coming in and ends up taking it off him. And yeah, it was some pure Alex. There were some pure Alex Ring moments.
Yep, that's sure. Exactly.
9th minute here. This is really Austin's first nice buildup of the match here, swinging it from right to left as they matriculate up the pitch here. And John Gallagher ends up winning a corner as his cross is deflected out on that left side. Emmy takes it and finds Seba sneaking backside, and looked like that was the set play there, was to get Seba kind of all alone. And he crosses it back into the dangerous area, but Abobasi touches it away, and Owen gets onto the rebound. But on the half volley, he's leaning back and just sends it over the net. But that was kind of the first, okay, Austin is here. They're in the building.
We're actually playing.
Some sort of reciprocation to the aggressiveness that San Jose came out with, because as they should, playing to get in there. 11th minute here, you get an appearance of Stuvino, right? A little nervy at the back, but he's got it under control. And that actually, Austin builds up over the next 45 seconds or so and ends with a nice combination between Emmy and Owen on that left side, and they eventually slide it out to John, who puts in a nice cross, and Rigoni was streaking towards that back post. And this ball from John is pretty damn accurate, and Emmy just not quite able to get there. I think it skips off his head. He just wasn't able to redirect it, and it goes out. for a goal kick. But those were the first signs of life from Austin. And again, if you look on that momentum chart, this was by far the biggest 4 or 5 minute stretch of green. And you get into that second half, man, and it's all blue. It's disgusting.
Tidal wave. Yeah. Look, I don't know if these type of plays happen at a disproportionate rate to any or not.
Yeah.
Or if they just stick out in my mind a little more. But it's always just half a second away from being a goal. And this is precisely that. And particularly with how that game started, if we could have got that early one there, wow, we would have been feeling wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no question. And again, just pulling up the momentum chart for those on the YouTube. You see that second half, man? That is ridiculous. One-sided. We'll get there, of course.
That's why this game was so fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. 12th minute here. You got Seba leading the break, and he has Galley wide open on the left and just doesn't put enough juice on this pass. And it was not the last time that Driussi was not super sharp last night.
Sloppy.
Yeah, and here, 14th minute, Austin building out of the back. Another bad giveaway from Seba here. And Johan slides in to block Acapo's cross before eventually being called for a handball, sliding in on the next challenge and trying to take it away. And again, it's far from the last time that Seba was sloppy or just plain not good enough last night.
Careless with the ball.
If you're going to be out there and playing this game, man, you don't be fucking around.
The fuck are you doing then? What?
Yeah.
Careless, sloppy. This was one of the worst performances of the entire year. Yep. This game was putrid. We got dominated. And to get out of there with 1 point, we would have been thrilled earlier in the season if this kind of game played out. But Jesus, this was one of the worst games of the year for me. I still do not understand what we were doing. And I don't think the players did. If 10's out there, then why is he not this was one of his worst games. He was horrible with the ball.
Yep.
Horrible.
Yep. I know some people would say he's not been great all season. That's not me, but I know some people are saying people are saying that.
Okay.
Espinoza takes that free kick after the handball. And Leo heads it towards the top of the 18, and John Mensah has a crack. And then I think that gets deflected by Leo again. And Jackson Ewell is trying to follow it up, and Stuver blocks that out for a corner. That corner is taken and then recycled, and that second ball in from Espinoza nearly finds a skying Jeremy Ebobisse, which is just a nightmare for us in this matchup, but luckily out for a goal kick. But then off that goal kick, and this is while they're showing us Dallas just rampaging all over the Galaxy. Stuver plays it short to Julio, and then he plays it to Johan at the top of the box, and that ball gets away from him. Ebobisse goes to challenge Johan for it, and it ends up at the feet of Espinoza, who takes 2 touches. He's wide open, slots it past Brad. And so this is, I guess, here's my question, and I've seen this asked multiple places. Who is that on more, Julio or Johan? I'll tell you right now, my answer, even after watching the replay, is Johan. I'm aware that, there's certain places, certain things that you don't want to do in every sport, right? Kind of just as general rules that you teach your kids when they're playing, U8 or whatever. And I think passing to the top of your own box is one of them. I also think Johan should have corralled this, and I put it more on him than Julio, but again, it's when playing it out of the back goes wrong. That's a perfect example right there.
I mean, I would say, honestly, it was 50-50. Okay. You don't want to put Johan. You can't put Johan in that situation right there. That is just you are just set him up to fail. The ball's got a little too much pace on it. Johan's a little not too fast. So, and we just give him this one, and we just give teams goals. We gave teams goals all year, and, it's fitting to give them one here. And, with the way that the first part of this game went, and even in the second half, you get away with only 1 goal, and it's we should have given up, should have been 4-1.
Yeah. 21st minute here. Austin building up through the middle. Some nice intricate passing. And I think that was one of the positives I took out of the rewatch was how compact we were, and going back to the conversation about the Johan and Alex pairing, those guys being a little bit more close together in the midfield, I think allows them to break some of that high pressure that a team like San Jose is putting on us. And there were, especially in the first half, some good passages of play here from Austin in that midfield. And this was one of them. Alex ends up getting it to Seba, and he slides it forward to Ethan on the right. Ethan crosses it in and almost finds John Gallagher's head, but ends up skipping harmlessly out the backside of the box. And then in the next minute, Chakiris with a yellow card for taking out Owen late, but then just a heart-stopping 30 seconds here, at least for you and I, because we were the only ones in that room last night that had this same thought. And I don't know who else was with us there. Did it not look like Driussi popped his Achilles right there?
It sure did to me.
I mean, he immediately grabs his Achilles.
Goes right to the back of his foot, and somebody does that. Usually, it's an Achilles pop, and
what is it like?
We would have had to cancel the pot.
Yeah, dude.
The rage we would have just like. Oh my God!
You would have seen us all of a sudden. All of a sudden, we are the faces of the Wolf Out movement for playing for UC if he does his Achilles last night.
Roto's a liar.
Yeah.
If he had to, I don't even want to think about it anymore because, obviously my heart stopped. I'm looking at you. We're looking at that. What the hell's going on? And, and to your point about the solid, intricate play within the middle, I agree. And on the rewatch, it was there for me as well. But still, it just makes this game even more confusing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why are we trying to build that connectivity now all of a sudden? These dudes aren't even going to fucking be here next year. And I also thought a couple times we got too condensed in certain areas, which left us exposed. I don't know if you have this play in the notes. I don't know when it happens. But there's a play where we're trying to track back, and Owen is way too sucked in. And it's like you got to get on your horse to get out there for to make a defensive play because we've just turned the ball over. And now it's like we have these like the spectacular play by Alex was a mistake by Nick initially. The slide by Johan, a turnover by Seba. So it's just like if it's gonna be what we're gonna do with that intricate midfield play in that box, you got to be better. It didn't get us much.
Yeah. 29th minute here, Owen with a poor ball that stops a break. And I just noted this because I didn't think it was too dissimilar from the one that we noted about Driussi earlier. So again, those guys just have to be sharper. 31st minute here, long ball by Alex. And John Mensah stretches to get it before Emmy can, but I thought this was a pretty obvious handball. And I'm not sure why that wasn't called, at least like a stoppage of play there. And that was, I think, one of the one times I saw Josh getting into the officials last night was like, yo, that's obviously hits his hand. Like, at least it would have provided us a set piece there about 15, 20 yards outside the box. So just a missed call there.
Yep, absolutely. Also, I don't know if something was up with that turf, but guys were falling down kind of like
slippery, right?
Right. I don't know if it had rained there a little earlier or what.
They water the field before,
It seem like there was a lot more dudes like kind of falling down in this game. Yeah. So I don't know if that impacted the ball because like you said, the Seba one earlier is like kind of a dribbler, but you would think theoretically it would skip more, have a little more pace. So I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah. And we've seen, I don't remember what game it was off the top of my head, but it wasn't a turf game. It was a grass game because there was like extra water on the pitch. I don't remember if it was like SKC back in the summer or which game, but some of the pitch conditions are they're just different wherever you go. I guess Roto was highlighting that in his presser a couple of weeks ago. So 32nd minute here, Alex finds Driussi to start the break off of a goal kick, and then he slides it out to Lima on the right, and Lima's cross finds Owen, who had just darted right across the face of Mensah, and Owen glances it up off his head and over. I think it's Daniel, the Brazilian, the young Brazilian keeper who is, by all the metrics that we like to look at, he's going to be a problem. Maybe not to like the Petrovic level, but really good keeper. Nothing he could do about it here. And Owen, beautiful goal. And we're all of a sudden, equalized. And this one we barely saw because they were talking to us, I think, about Houston destroying Portland, which is just like we're watching our rivals just absolutely mash their opponents, and we're out here doing what we fucking did last night. But in this moment, congrats to Owen on that goal. It was a fantastic header there.
Might be the goal of the year in the upcoming goal bracket.
Oh, I don't know about that, but come on. People vote on that.
That was sick.
I know it was sick.
Beautiful. Yeah, I understand.
Look at the name on his jersey.
Yeah,
he ain't winning.
Get the votes that he needs, but
it was a nice goal.
Yeah, great ball by Nick. This is our one really great play here, and Owen knew it right away. He's kind of running forward.
Yep.
Gotcha. Beautiful. Nothing the keeper could have done. The highlight of the night for sure.
Yeah, and we'll take it. 42nd minute here. Austin on the front foot, really for the first time in like half an hour, like since that first like little bit of momentum around the 10th minute, because I think the Owen goal was certainly against the run of play, I think.
Absolutely.
But here, Austin's starting to drum up some momentum. They arrive into the attacking third on the left, and Owen and Galley are a bit congested into the area, but Owen ends up sliding it along to Galley eventually, and he gets a cross deflected out for a corner. And they take that corner short, and every time we do that, I just see Big Fudge just balling his fists up. And we see Emmy, though, here play a nice ball to John at the top of the box, and I was balling my fists up, too, because it looked like this was going to turn into another corner where we do not get service into the box, but he finds John kind of all alone at the top, and he dekes around one defender, opens up for a shot. That ends up getting blocked by Cade Cowell. But, again, Austin not sitting back at this point after equalizing late on in the first half there. But that's pretty much all. Go ahead.
Had a little momentum, so trying to capitalize. I like to take by Johnny, but, nothing from it.
Into the second half we go, and into the 51st minute here. San Jose putting on the pressure early in the half. They see the live table on the bench. They see it in the locker room, and they know what they need to do, win, and they were in. Cade Cowell got some space near the top of the box here, and he takes a touch to his right, then pulls a shot back across his body that causes a dive from Brad, but ends up going out harmlessly for a goal kick. But that just was kind of the beginning, again, of that tsunami of blue on the momentum chart here, because 2 minutes later, another sloppy Austin possession here. And this San Jose break is started by Seba fucking around again, trying to be fancy where he could make a simple pass and trying to backheel it or rainbow flick it. I don't even know what he was trying to do here, but trying to nutmeg somebody, I think, on this play. And that leads to San Jose getting a 3-on-3 break here. Cowell and Alex Ring battling, and he sends a cross way wide from left to right, but Espinoza able to get to that ball before it goes out. And he puts a cross in that somehow finds a Bobasi. We had a lot of mint jerseys in there, and this gets right to a Bobasi from 10 yards out, middle of the goal, and he rips a shot. And Stuver, nice save here. To be honest, on this one, he didn't have to do much to save it. It was kind of right at him, but still parries it away. God, man, at that point, we're taking on water here.
Yeah, it was. Look, I'm always a fan of 10 in a one-on-one situation. I like the matchup. I want you to go at him. He was just sloppy all night, and I want to see the one-on-one takes. I want to see the tries like that, the creative takes, the creative attempts to beat your man. But we're in the fucking offensive third, and you're coming down on somebody, you're bearing down on your defender. You got him backpedaling. Get him. That's what I want to see it. And I feel like that is not where he's been making these kind of moves and plays. And it was just sloppy again. And poor Stuver, he's about to get hit with the barrage coming up.
57th minute here, you get a triple sub for San Jose. Grezzo, Marie, and Montero come in for Chakiris, Trauco, and Cade Cowell. 62nd minute here. You get Alex down on the inline. Looks like Galley trying to clear a ball, hit him right in the gut and kind of maybe knock the wind out of him there. But then between those subs and Alex going down here, San Jose had won 5, maybe even 6 corners in a 4-minute span. So I think also just a welcome break, Alex going down there. Everybody catch their breath, and let's try to disrupt some of this momentum that the Quakes have been building. 4 minutes later, Quakes keeping the pressure on. It didn't really work that well. Another Espinoza cross comes in here, and John Gallagher whiffs the clearance attempt, and I guess doesn't whiff it, deflects it, just doesn't get any sort of clearing touch on it. Mm-hmm. That deflection finds Ebobisse all alone from literally 6 yards out, and his half volley pings off the left post and out. But San Jose stays in possession here. Valencia picks up a yellow card for a late challenge right on the end line on a capo. So dangerous free kick there from the end line. And interesting set piece here from San Jose. Kind of like Jamiro Montero was like kind of like, I don't know, your fullback there, like lead blocker almost for Jackson Ewell, who's wide open. And luckily his shot goes wide because didn't see that coming.
Nope. I mean, God, who was it? Kobe Jones last night?
Yeah.
And he's like, man, it was more difficult to do what Ebobisse did than to have scored a goal in that situation. And like, spot on. And, I don't know how we get out of this situation without giving up a goal other than mostly luck, and again, poor Brad, this poor man, this poor fucking man. Yeah. Like, oh my God. He got mad again last night too. We were fucking around earlier in the first half, I believe.
Yep. As he should. I mean,
he should.
He's the one, again, Stuver, we can just go ahead and say this. The Iron Man for the team this year played every single minute. Single minute. He was the only guy, right, who had to go through this entire thing out there on the pitch. Never a break.
The keeper, and he's the keeper. So sometimes you go through it alone back there, know, and just what, I mean, it'll get lost in the shit that was this season, but a hell of a professional performance all season by Brad.
Yep, for sure. 69th minute here, you get a double change for Austin. Matt Hedges and Adam Lundqvist return, I guess really both of their return to the lineup here, in for John Gallagher and Ethan Finley. So Austin shifts to a 5-back here with Lundqvist at the left wing back, Lima right wing back, CB's here, Julio in the middle, Hedges to his right, Leo to his left. And this is what you were hinting at earlier. What are we doing? Because look, and I think you said it perfectly earlier. If there's still something in the balance, we would have loved the way this played out, and this adjustment would have made sense. And that's the only answer I have for why they did it, because they're still trying to treat it like that, we're not going to deviate from the plan, right? This is how we would play it. A point on the road at San Jose is a good result just in the full season, but like we're not playing for anything. So for me, again, the competitor in me, the fan in me, really the emotional side, right, is saying, why don't we just go for the win?
Of course.
Who cares?
We've already risked it all. We risked everything for no fucking reward in this game. Like we risked the health of our best player for no reason. I understand it's the last game. I understand everyone hates load management and shit. Like, whatever, man. If Seba had tore his Achilles, everybody would have been here crying, upset. Like, it would have been a disaster. And then to make these subs, I don't know. If you're going to take Finley out, get Memo in. Like, get these guys in. Let's go. Let's try. Like, you're playing with house money at this point. We should have been down 2-1 minimum. So, just a complete head scratcher. Seba's playing like garbage. You leave him out there. He goes down later. It's like, the fuck? What is going on? It was terrible.
Again, it's in the context of this game. Any other if this game was 3 weeks ago, let's hold on for that point, right?
Yep. If we did that, we would have got scored on.
Yeah, for sure. 72nd here, Espinoza picks up a yellow for catching Lundy with his studs like right in the Achilles. It actually looked like it probably hurt.
Yeah.
75th minute, Montero puts in a cross here that finds Rodriguez's head, but Stuver able to gobble it up, and just another extended period of Quakes pressure, and Austin unable to play through it and really get out of our own half in the last half hour of this game. 77, Montero again with a nice through ball this time to Matthew Hoppe, and he pulls his shot, again, going to his right, back across his body, just wide. And again, nothing Stuver could have done about that if it was on target. Then you see 78th minute, you get Will Bruin and Dani on for Owen and Johan. So obviously pushing Will up to the striker and Emmy to one of those attacking mid positions in that box midfield there. 80th minute. Nice combo play here from Emmy and Dani and Owen down the left, starting this breakaway and then progressing up the pitch. They end up swinging it around to Ring, who gets it onto Lima down that right side. And he puts it across to a dangerous area. Will is there and Seba is there. But Daniel comes out. He gets the save. And Seba, I think trying to avoid the keeper here, comes down right on his tailbone and he stays down. And eventually he comes out in the 86th for Memo. But that was kind of the last gasp for Austin right there. Just trying to put it into the area for Will to go and, get one on his way out.
That would have been awesome. I would have loved a Will goal. I loved his, just the way he came out too. He's trying to rally the guys, like, let's go forward. And it's like, let's fucking do it, man. Like, I don't know. And it was a solid chance, but that's a great keeper back there, and he made the right play.
Sideline mics here during the sub pick up Josh speaking Spanish to Emmy. And again, we've seen that before. We saw Josh speaking Spanish back in January, but another example for we've seen fans say, "Oh yeah, well, we need a coach who speaks Spanish." Josh doesn't speak any Spanish. He does. Let's focus on the things that we can actually criticize this coaching staff for. 87th minute here, just the last note that I had. San Jose wins yet another corner. This Espinoza service finds Mensah's head and Stuver. This was, I think, the best save of the night by far. Paused it out with one hand off Mensah's header. And I thought that the game as a whole, because all Brad gave up was the freebie to Espinoza that we gifted him, right? Yep. I thought it was a great way to finish the season for Brad. After, he went through a period of not his best soccer, not his best play at the back. Just kind of, I think out of anybody that was out there and got something out of this last night, maybe it was Brad.
Well said. I agree. Plays it perfectly, gets back behind his line. He's planted, reacts. Great save.
51% Austin possession, which feels odd, but that was the number.
That makes this game even more stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said in the second half, we couldn't even get out of the half, so we go to this defensive thing.
Yeah.
All right, it's over. The game is over.
20 shots to 4 in favor of San Jose. 7 shots on target to 1 in favor of San Jose. 15 corners to 3 and 1.28 XG for San Jose to 0.31 for Austin on FOTMOB's motto. And just for good measure, to end the season, 1 big chance created, 1 big chance missed for Austin. So we finished the season 4th in big chances created behind LAFC, Cincinnati, and Vancouver. Some pretty good teams there. And 5th in big chances missed. So anything else you have to close this one out? Like, I think, honestly, I would like to push any personnel conversations, anything like that, to Wednesday, where we can get into off-season mode. We'll start the goals bracket voting on Wednesday as well. So again, going to the off-season, just 1 episode per week in the off-season. Those will be on Wednesdays. And the nonsense gets ratcheted up a little bit.
Yeah. No, nothing more on this game. Glad it's over. Definitely need some time to digest this entire season, and move on from it. But it was a terrible game.
Yeah. So Austin finishes the season on 39 points, finished 12th in the Western Conference. And because we did not win last night, the Drew Fisher result is not what kept us out of the postseason. So you got lucky, Drew. We would have been coming.
God, we better never see him again.
All right, let's turn things around here, right? Austin FC 2. Let's get into last business day, MLS Next Pro Cup Champion Edition. Woo! And let's recap this one. I guess we can just start at the top, as we normally do here with the lineup. And I think this is what we called on Wednesday's episode. We said you kind of got to run the same 11 out there. What's been working for you, and that's what we saw. Same 11 from the last 2 playoff rounds. And
I mean, it literally worked out perfectly. You bring CJ in too, later, and great call by the coaching staff to stick with this 11, who have played absolutely fantastic in these playoffs. I was elated to see it.
Yeah, and you had Chris Pinkham back in there off red card suspension. So I believe that is who pushed Anthony DeAnda back to the inactive part of the roster. But did see post-match, it looked like all those guys. We haven't seen Steve Louis-Jean for a couple weeks, but he was there. Anthony was there.
Yep.
So it was good to see that the team, brought those guys along for this experience. I guess let's just go ahead and jump into it here. Third minute, this one was physical right off the rip. Joe collides with their number 10. I believe his name was Roberts. I think he was actually a former FC Dallas Academy player or homegrown. I believe they said that on the broadcast. Thomas Roberts, I think his name was.
Thomas Roberts.
So Joe, on this collision, Joe busts his nose and he's leaking. And so Austin shorthanded for a minute or two there and able to sustain the pressure. And that is when the fourth official let Joe back on too, he comes in and immediately intercepts the pass, and their captain,
classic Joe.
Yeah, his name is escaping me at the moment, but their captain was not happy about that. 12th minute here, Fuson gets free on a nice little give and go that they had at the top of the box, and he rips a shot, and Damian, one of many best keeper in the world type of saves here tonight, poked that one over the bar for a corner, and Austin ends up getting it out. And then in the 15th minute, here's Val gets hit by now I need to know this guy's name, because 22, their captain, he was the one who stomps Val here. Micheletto, that's what his name was. And he also looked, how old is he? He looked like
27.
Yeah, okay. He looked his age then. Okay.
Grown ass man.
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, so we got two dudes bloodied in the first 15 minutes. And
I know. It was a physical start to this game, and it's fantastic because it leads to the most iconic shots of our dudes bloodied and battered holding up the championship. Yep. We'll get there, but I that was so fun to see, Val's bleeding throughout the whole fucking game.
Yep.
Look, they were sharp to start too. And like you said, that little give and go, they had some nice interplay throughout the entire course of the game. Yeah. Defense did hold stout. And with D back there, baby, gotta like a champ.
Yeah, and the Columbus Crew too. They were the defending champions coming into this one. So this is they're a quality club. This was a chance at a repeat for them. Not to be though. 18th minute here, Bobo and Pinot come together, and that pressure helps pick a ball off in the offensive third. Sebas starts the break. He gets it on to David, and it looked like David wanted to find Val out wide left here, but Val is kind of in the middle there, and he just picks it up, and he fires a shot that is on target, spilled by their keeper, and Pinot just a split second late to be able to poke the rebound in there, and the keeper able to scoop it up. But that was kind of Austin's first real threatening chance into their area there.
And I mean, that's what we've been seeing from Cristo in these playoffs, man. He's been aggressive. He has not been afraid of the moment. And this is a great rip. And, with the spillage, we'll take that. Sebas usually can find a foot. He's long, but, good on them.
27th minute here, Columbus off on a 5-on-5 break after Austin's press gets broken. Holstead is denied by loss at point blank range. And this was it hits the bottom of his calf. It looked like he outstretched that left leg, and it just barely takes a deflection that pushes it wide of that post. But some nervy moments here for Austin. 10 minutes later, from the broadcast angle, it looked like there was maybe something there with Sal upending Micheletto in the box, but the ref got this one correct, because on that replay you can see there's nothing in it. That was a dive, if anything. But then they get a free kick moments later, and off that free kick forces Damian to make another outstanding save at close range from 8 yards out on that right side. 40.
I mean, I was just going to say, we said D's the MVP, baby. He came to play. It was fantastic.
41st minute, Cristo plays a long ball here that is headed up by the Columbus defender into the air. And David has a chance at the top of the area. The keeper had come off of his line, but wasn't quite able to settle it and pop it over for a chance on net. So we remain scoreless there. And then the next minute, Alonso takes a peek from 25 yards. He's got some space, so he fires a shot that ends up going into that supporter section there. And at the lower.com field, man, a couple thousand it looked like on hand there. They had half of their supporter section full. Looked like both sides of the stadium also had, 50% capacity in that lower bowl area. It was a pretty cool, pretty nice environment for these guys.
Yeah, it was awesome. And, once we get these goals coming, we start chirping a little bit, having a little fun with the fans. And obviously our awesome fans showed up, supported. So cool to see them on the broadcast, get to watch that. It was fun. It looked fun and great experience for the dudes, man. Mm-hmm. And man, I'm so glad that I reversed my idea of sitting Alonso.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a game he played.
Yeah.
On both sides of the ball.
4 minutes of stoppage here in the first half. And in that fourth minute, David gets space at the top of the box and he fires one with his left. It was a great shot, but then an even better save by that keeper. Lapkus, I think his name was. And I think he's 17. So that even though it took the loss, I thought their keeper was pretty impressive here. And this was a really nice save to paw it out for a corner. That corner got played short. Ultimately, Scheik's cross is cleared out and we go to the half. Scoreless. But Austin in that last 15 minutes, I thought they completely shifted the momentum and we were the aggressor heading into the break.
I agree. Withstood some heavy punches from them and they get a great save out of their keeper to end this half right here. But a physical match, we were both, feeling each other out a little bit. But I felt good going into the half. Absolutely.
Coming out of the half, we do get a change here. CJ comes on for Cristo Vela and right off the first play, 10 seconds in here, CJ springs to Ray down the left and he puts in a cross that almost finds Pino. And then we steal the next possession away as well. And David has a go from 6 yards outside the box and that gets parried away. It was on target. So again, Austin continuing that momentum that they had built up going into the halftime break. But that momentum comes to a halt in the 49th minute where kind of a scrum in the box, ball pinging around, and a penalty ends up being called on Torre. And then, man, I think my impression live, again, looking through Verde-colored glasses here, but I thought it was soft live. And then you watch the replay. Czech is the one that got fouled. Yeah. He got stepped on, and they called a penalty on him, and it was just a bad call.
It was a really, really bad call. And, man, fortunately, this game turned out the way it did because if you have VAR in that situation, and look, man, I know it's MLS Next Pro, but maybe we have it for the playoffs.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe maybe the championship game you can
especially when we know there's technology in that stadium because you guys did it last night.
Exactly. So maybe we get it for the championship game. I'd like to see it. But I guess it ends up working out in our favor as well later on. Yeah. But a shit call from a shit ref.
Yeah. And Roberts sends Damian the long way. And Damian's got a little grin like, all right, get you guys back. And he's solid the rest of the way. 57th here. I thought this was a potential handball on Columbus in the box. I know the color commentator was saying, his hand is pretty close to his body. It's not extended. This was off, I think, a David cross attempt there on the right. But, me being emotional at that point, I was like, handball.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how I was too. I was like, well, if that's a fucking penalty,
exactly,
giving them out for free. Like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. In that 63rd minute here. Yellow card on Micheletto for taking out Bobo. And that should have been his second because I thought he should have got a yellow for stomping Val in the first half.
Look, I guess it's a good thing we didn't see this team, because I don't know anything about this dude, but what is he out there doing? Why is he on the team? He's 27. He's just out there beating teenagers up. What is going on? A horrible, just a really reckless challenge.
Yeah. Yep. 69th minute here. Great ball from Charlie. And then CJ to spring Val down the left. So Austin doing well to get it out of our own defensive third. And Val on the break here goes down, draws the penalty, a soft penalty to be sure. But I think my opinion is the ref forced his own hand there because of how he started officiating differently in the second half. And if you call the first one, you have to call that second one. And kind of like what you said a couple minutes ago, if we have VAR, I think that one gets overturned because Val flopped. But a good sell job by him. And
Yep.
okay, now we each got a soft penalty, and Alonso buries it, and we're all leveled up with 20 minutes to go.
Yep. I mean, I'm glad it worked out like that because, like you said, neither of these were penalties. There is a little contact. Val gets pushed, but he ultimately trips himself on the ball.
Yeah.
So we'll take it. And, back to basically 0-0, and here we go. And I want to point out, I didn't get to say it before at the sub with the half, but like you said, CJ comes on, instant impact, and you really started to feel the energy, the momentum kind of pick up once he got in the game.
Yeah, no question. 77th minute here, talking about CJ and his energy. Another transition opportunity here for the good guys, and Pinot this time is the one that springs CJ free down the left. He slows it up as he approaches the 18, and he finds Val hanging out near the top of the box, and Val takes a touch, settles himself, and rips a shot past the keeper. And just like that, Austin FC 2 with the lead in 13 minutes plus stoppage to play. Annabelle texted me because, are you okay? Because I let out some combination of noises. Like, yeah, we scored.
Yeah. It's funny because obviously we have a fantasy basketball draft tonight, and when we're knotted up 1-1, we're like, oh man, we got to push the draft back because this is going to overtime. But no, sir, not on Val's watch. What a shot! Nothing the keeper could do. It's just really frustrating to see these Next Pro dudes ripping shots and putting shots in the back.
Right.
And we get the fucking field goals.
Yeah. We get Johan putting the ball shooting the ball with no XG. Before you can even catch your breath here, man, in the 80th minute, Austin out on the run again. Noel finds CJ down that left side, and this is probably a cross. I was yelling, shoot it, because he's on his left foot there, and we know that CJ's got so much power. But anyways, he puts it in the mixer there in the middle, and that gets deflected in for an own goal by Crespo, and 3-1 in the span of 10 minutes. And the game is over at that point. You guys aren't coming back against us.
Nope. They have one kind of cheeky attempt later that could have got something out of from a better strike, but great take by CJ, put the ball into a dangerous area. And I mean, if that dude doesn't sell out completely and slide like that, it's a goal.
Yeah, we tap it
it's going right to Sebas.
Yeah,
so it would have been a goal. But yeah, the party was on, baby. Campeones.
Yep. 81st minute. Here, Damian comes off his line and punches it and goes down, and it falls right to Holstead. And he tries to one time loft it over everybody, but way off target. And we got lucky there for sure. 88th minute here, you see Micah come in for David, and then I believe we had 4 minutes of stoppage here in the second half as well. In that first minute, this is where Columbus has that really nice build up into the area on that left side and ends up give and go point blank attempt. Just I forget, I don't know if it was Roberts or not, but the Columbus attacker is one on Damian there, and he sends it past Damian but just wide. And to be fair to the Columbus players, a pretty tough angle here, but probably should have done better and then really made us sweat the last couple of minutes.
That was you up 3-1. There's those two attempts that they just get right there, a little tightening, but ultimately can't beat Damian.
Nope, you cannot.
Nope.
Second minute of stoppage, Chris Pinkham comes on for Val Noel, and shortly thereafter, the final whistle blows. The celebration ensues, which I'm sure will go on late into the night. I don't believe those guys are flying back until tomorrow morning on Monday. Hopefully they have a nice night in Columbus, Ohio there. And Val Noel, MVP of the championship match. So congrats to Val. Congrats to everybody involved with Austin FC 2 this year. Right from the start, these guys have brought the energy, brought the juice. They've been sharp. Best defense in the league by far.
Yep.
And it showed on the road 4 straight times in the last month to bring home the hardware. What do we do now? I don't know. We're champions. Can we have a championship parade at the pitch or something? I'll go out there.
Hell yeah, I'll go out there. Mooch about to get up. Yeah, that'd be sweet. Look, man, like you said, from start to finish, what a team, what a season. There we go. Yep. And like you said, best defense in the league. And I remember we had Ribbinator on much earlier in the year, and we were discussing the FC Toe boys, and it was a big matchup. I don't remember particularly. Maybe SKC with that very high-powered offense.
Yeah.
I said, let this defense can travel, and it showed up in these playoffs after a bit of a tumultuous end of that season, but showed up when it mattered most. And just props to all those dudes, professionals. What a season! Fantastic, beautiful.
Yeah, and again, I think want to leave all the personnel talk, player personnel talk, all that stuff for the offseason. Just enjoy the victory here, not just tonight, but I'm going to let this bleed into next week. I don't care if it's Next Pro or what. It's hard to win a championship, especially the way they did.
Absolutely.
And so I think us and every Austin FC fan should let themselves be happy about this club for this week. Because once these MLS playoffs start, we can go back to being curmudgeons and grumpy for good reason. But we're champions right now, everybody.
That's right, baby. I mean, every time a team gets eliminated in the playoffs, if they didn't have a Next Pro team win, so more silverware than you, friend.
Correct. So 3-1, Austin FC 2 are the 2023 MLS Next Pro champions. And
one season, one championship, baby. That's
100%
success rate. Let's go. Keep it going.
So looking forward to the title defense all of next year. Man, what a great start for that club, or that part of our club, I guess I should say.
Amazing.
Let's close out episode 101 with the nonsense here, E. And the bets have not finalized yet for this week. Couple NFL ones still going. They did not go well. We didn't get blanked though. So we'll calculate all that on Wednesday's episode, and we'll try to get back to our -30 threshold in the playoffs. We'll see. Hey, we get to make our long shot cup winner bets, all that stuff. I'm already looking at Seattle 14-1. I think that's I got my eye on that, but we'll talk more about the bets on Wednesday. We'll close out the episode here talking about best ball decision day, and really right from Eastern Conference was at 5, Western Conference was at 8, and even before the games kick off, we hear Chicho Arango not going to play last night. Cincinnati's lineup comes out. Aaron Bupenza is not playing. So it started not great for the North End.
Not good.
And it didn't end good for the North End podcast. But it did end well for the team that was out in front for the vast majority of the season. A team that made good changes in the summer transfer window, drafted strong, was Tommy Scoop's pick preseason to win the league. So Tommy Scoop's 1-for-1, just like Austin FC 2. Moon Tower Soccer, the inaugural Verde Best Ball League champion. So congrats to Landon and Jeremiah. They get it done with 57 points on decision day, besting the North End podcast by 38 points on the season. They get just a team effort here. You get a 12 from Shallowly, 11 from Barreal, 10 from Ache and Heel, 8 from Buwanga, 6 from Bradley Stuver on decision day. So they do well. And then you look at the bottom of the standings. 3rd and 4th were separated by just 1 point. And you get 44 points for We Are Austin TV behind the brace of our boy Yorgos Yakimakis. 9 from Stephen Fry there in Seattle, shutting out St. Louis. And 41 points for RB and the boys Texas Ring of Fire. So their comeback comes up just short. We finish Moon Tower Soccer in first, 1,614 points. North End Podcast, 1,576. In third place, We Are Austin TV, 1,417 to Texas Ring of Fire, 1,413. So that is the end of our best ball season. Again, league expansion coming next year. The only should have done is charge expansion fees to the 2 new teams coming in. But going to be excited to have 6 teams next year. Going to be a little bit deeper, right? We're going to have to do some extra research to make sure we get the right picks in there. So definitely looking forward to that, and appreciate Moon Tower and We Are Austin TV and Texas Ring of Fire for participating in this, idea that I'm sure left them scratching their heads when I first pitched it back last winter. But glad it worked out the way it did.
Yeah, it was fun. What a season. Texas Ring of Fire, man, could have had a hell of a comeback.
Yeah.
But we'll see you next year. We'll see you next year in Moon Tower. Congrats.
Yeah.
Landon, Jeremiah.
I was gonna say, everybody now a year under their belt, so we'll see. We'll go back to the drawing board. Our front office, we may have to make some new hires. I don't know. Maybe we're getting some people out. You never know. We'll reassess. We'll reassess in the offseason.
Full season of Messi.
Yep, true.
On the board.
All right, everybody. That is going to do it for episode 101 of the North End Podcast, a championship celebration episode. If you're still with us and you've got 5 extra seconds to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, we would greatly appreciate it. And if you've got buddies who like Austin FC and listen to podcasts, make sure you give us a shout out to all your friends. Get us in their content rotation. We would appreciate any and all of that you would do for us. And of course, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button to help us grow the podcast. You can hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And of course, on this episode, hit that thumbs up, like the video, help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords, atone for your sins, wash yourselves clean in the Next Pro Championship of Austin FC 2. We will be back on Wednesday with our first off-season episode, getting into all kinds of nonsense, starting the goals bracket, talking about the wild card matchups, the MLS first round playoff matchups, game 1s coming up next weekend. I think we're going to have some Austin FC roster news this week. Both Josh and Roto have hinted at decisions coming quickly for some of these, some of the looming choices that they have to make. So we're back on Wednesday talking everything Austin FC that happens between now and then. Hope to see you there. Enjoy the beginning of your week, everybody. Enjoy the championship that Austin FC 2 has brought home to Central Texas. And we'll see you on Wednesday. Until then, he's E. I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.